Clark County judge has struck down an attempt to revive the state's law on background checks for private gun sales. Voters approved the law by a narrow margin in 2016, but it was never implemented. Politics Now co-host Patrick Walker live in studio to explain why this law has been locked up in court nearly 2 years after voters passed it. Patrick?
Well, from the beginning, this was controversial. When the dust settled on election night, question 1 as it appeared on the ballot passed by less than 1%. But a Clark County judge sided with the governor and the attorney general, saying the law is unenforceable. For supporters of Nevada's law requiring background checks on private gun sales, Monday's ruling to strike a lawsuit to force the implementation of the nearly 2-year-old ballot initiative is deflating.
I think it's really unfortunate. The will of the voters here on question 1 was to implement universal background checks.
Former State Senator Justin Jones helped write the ballot initiative and sponsored a similar bill that was vetoed by Governor Sandoval in 2013. In his ruling on this case, Judge Joe Hardy Jr. said that the state cannot force the FBI to perform background checks as written in the law. The agency has refused to do so. As a result, Attorney General Adam Laxalt issued a legal opinion that because of that, the law was unenforceable.
Adam Laxalt fought against question 1 before it was on the ballot, when it was on the ballot, and afterward.
Stand with law enforcement and vote no on question 1.
Laxalt did oppose question 1, but Judge Hardy ruled that both the Attorney General and the governor made attempts to convince FBI officials to perform the background checks after the law passed. Laxalt addressed the issue in a radio interview with KXNT radio host Alan Stock last week.
I was asked by a state agency, the Department of Public Safety, that currently does background checks in our state. What do we do with this ballot initiative? And we said, you know, if the FBI won't do this, it's hard to see how this is enforceable.
Opponents to the ballot initiative say the law was poorly written, thus making the law unenforceable. Another point underscoring how politically charged this initiative was and still is, 2 camps provided the bulk of funding for and against question 1. Of the $19 million that was raised by Nevadans for background checks, more than $18 million came from former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg or his political action committee, Everytown for Gun Safety. The NRA donated virtually all of the $6.5 million that was spent against the initiative. Back to you.
Thank you, Patrick. And we posted this story on Facebook, and as you can probably imagine, it got quite a bit of comments from people here in Southern Nevada.
Jennifer writes, this just goes to show you how many people did not read that ridiculous law before voting yes. This is why voters need to educate themselves before making a decision. Nevada taxpayer money was wasted to fight this bogus lawsuit.
David says almost all of them saw that it was make it harder for criminals to get guns and didn't bother to read anything else. The problem is people need to read past catchy taglines and read full things.
Aaron added, it's still passed, which means it is what the people want. Rewrite it, fix it, implement it.
Oh, we want to know what you think. Just look us up on Facebook at 8 News Now to join that conversation.